This video is brought to you by Miniature Market. Thousands of board games, miniatures, and paints, discount prices at miniaturemarket.com.
You know, I'm very blessed to have some really good people in my life. And, you know, they don't come easy. You guys know out there, friends are a dime a dozen, okay? But people that mean something to you in your life are very hard to come by because they only come along once in a while. And I can tell you this much. Pete Shirey and Richard Launius are people that mean a lot to me because we're very good friends, and I swear I'm going to get up there to South Carolina, and there's a reason for something I'm going to explain a little bit later. But I have just gotten a copy of Richard's most recent game from Mr. B Games, a great company unto itself, okay, and that is Thunder Rolls. Now, I want to tell you something. I'm going to spoil it for you right in the beginning, folks. You don't have to wait for the end. This is glorious. This is great. This is the guy that remember Thunder Alley, okay? He did the expansion for it and made that game so much better. He decided to make something that is NASCAR driven, but really hits home for anybody to play. You don't have to be a NASCAR fan. Now, I'm going to talk about some things when we get down to the table, some misconceptions that people have, but I want to clear a few things up. The solo play is ridiculously great in this, okay? And if you have a chance, go back and check my live solo play of this and see how well it goes. I'm sure it you know, I have my bumps and bruises in there. You know, anytime I stream, I mess things up. But you'll see that this game really plays very well. It's smart, and it does something that I've been looking for in a racing game. Something that really gives you that feel instead of feeling like you're just going around in a circle. You're not doing that here, even though you are going around in a circle, and that's how you win. But it is a fantastic and glorious experience, and one that we're going to go down and we're going to take a look at, and we're going to talk about Thunder Rolls. Let's go down to the table, take a look. I'm not going to explain everything, but I want to clear up some misconceptions, give you a base idea on the game. If you really want to learn the game, go check out my live play, and then boom, we'll be on the back end. I want to talk even more about this. All right, so I'm not going to go over every rule here, but I'm going to give you an idea of what's going on. So you're going to be going around this track, and the way you're going to be doing that is depending on how many people you're going to play with. For instance, I'm going to play myself, which is just one guy. This is my car. This is number 10. Okay? Pretty easy, right? But all these other cars are going to have to move. But here's the thing. This game is a dice placement game, pretty much. And then it goes into a thing where you are going to try to get at least 4 of these Thunder cards by winning or coming in second or third to be able to grab one of these 3 cards, okay? You're going to get 4 cards. If you don't get 4 of these Thunder cards, you are going to have to pull some speed cards, and they're not as good. These Thunder cards are going to have different things, and you're going to do things in your Thunder phase. Now, right here, this means hazard. You're going to roll a d6, and basically, if you get a 1, you would draw from the hazard card. And when you go to program, because there is the Thunder Phase, which is a card programming thing that you are going to pull. Each card that you were able to earn, you're going to be able to do the ability and get that many move that many spaces. This isn't about getting across this finish line. It is about getting in the lead and winning, and being, when the game ends, being in front and winning. And you're going to get the most points for that. The person that's first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth. So the laps here aren't as important as you think. What it does is keeps track and it tells you who's in first and who's down a lap, because there are cars that will go down a lap for sure. Now, the way this works on your turn, and when you play with multiple players, everybody's going to get a set of dice. I have the green card. I'm going to roll these dice. Okay, somebody may have the yellow card, and they're going to roll these dice, depending on the race that you pick. And there are tons of races here, and I'll show you all the races that you can have for this game and how they turn out. The one that you want to start with is Con 400. Okay, but there are tons. There's the Tantrum House, the BGG, Autobahn, you know, just a bunch of different ones. I do have my friend in here, Dale, the casual gamer, who is awesome. And, well, I'm in there too, but we're not going to make a big deal about that. Okay, each one of these races do different things. Some are going to have special rules, okay? Like the Beacon has some special rules that you do. But there's also some effects. Now, in this race, there are no effects. But when you come on these spaces, there are things that could happen if you ended up landing on there that can affect the race. And you're going to find more as you go onto the different races. So you want to be aware of that. There are 6 spots that you are going to place your dice, okay? And depending on how you use your dice is how you're going to go. Now, as you can see, you're going to pair everything up. So I've got 2 1s, 2 3s, 2 4s, a 6, and a 2. Now, each one of these have a different ability. This is a pit stop. If you ever decide to re-roll everything and turn this over, well, you're going to have to pit, okay? You're going to have to place at least a die there. But if you're going to place the dies on one, you're going to have to place all your ones on that turn. That means you're going to have less dies in the future to utilize. Okay, so you want to use as much as you can. So in that case, I would be able to turn this over. There are special abilities that come with things, like if I wanted to use the 3s, okay, what I would do is everybody else would go after I place mine, and then I would roll these dice again. And as you can see, I got 2 6s, 2 4s. Well, I want to move 2. I would put these here. As you can see, I'm getting down there in dice. I don't want to do that, so I would move 2. And moving is always to the empty spot that you can. There are all kinds of different abilities and things that you can do. You have Crew Chief, where you can move 1 and then retrieve a die back, maybe. But you also want to try to keep those doubles there, because you want to be able to get the thunder cards that you're going to be dealing out on each one of these sections, okay? There's going to be 3 cards. For this one, there'll be 1 up, so you'll be able to see it. Oh, wow, I really want that one. And then two face down, so you're not going to know. Over there, there'll be 3 down. So as you win these, you're going to be able to pick a certain card. If you come in first, you're going to have your pick. If you come in second, then the highest card is discarded in a solo game. If you come in second, you're going to pick second, which means somebody's going to pick a better card. In the solo game, it's real smart, because you take the highest value card. This is a 6 movement. When we get to the thunder phase, I'll explain that as well. That you can attribute and program. So you want to program all these cards. They're going to have different types of abilities. Now, what are the abilities? Well, you get this great card that tells you there's clean air. You're going to be able to move 2 if you have that ability. So when you decide to use one of these things, you can, like this one is a draft. So say the black car, the purple car here got draft. Well, they're going to take with them anybody that's behind them, or if it was, for instance, and they're going to move 1 space. But if it was the black car that got the draft, well, guess what? They're going to push those 2 cars ahead, so it becomes a draft line. Okay, really, really pretty cool how that works out. You got to move 2, you got to move 1. If you are not the priority at the end, you don't have any of those there, you're going to get additional moves. The Crew Chief, you can get some of these Crew Chief cards, or you can remove a dice, and these cards will help you along. Now, in the solo aspect, which if you check out my live play, you'll see how that works, because you've got the beginner racers that will go by themselves, okay? If you're playing solo, and what you're going to do is you are going to pick a card depending on the order, because what you're going to do at the beginning of the game, you are going to dish out these cards, these qualifying cards, and the higher the better. So he gets the front position, where if I pulled this one, it may have a special ability, but I'm going to start at the back of the pack. Okay, seems pretty easy. Once you get, once you do your turn, then it's going to be the non-player turn. Okay, so you can play this with 1, 2, 3, however many players that you want to play. And what's going to happen is you are going to take their card, and this is how easy it is. As you can see, he has his abilities to move an additional 2. You're going to turn this card over. You're going to go by the top phase, which is the rolling phase, and it's going to be 2. Okay, so the black card is actually going to go move 2, and then there's no helmet there, so he doesn't get the special ability. So he was able to move 2, but you always want to stay, if you're the non-player wants to stay in the groove, and that's that thing that you see there. Now there may be another card here, and I haven't gone through these. Okay, for instance, this one here, it has a helmet. We're going to use that card's ability, okay, which is move 2. So it's going to be 1. You can move diagonally, 1, 2, and then you're going to move an additional 1. Hey, look at that. You're way out front, right? Don't get too confident, because that's the way it goes. And you're going to go through each one of the colors of the card. So next would be Team White. You would pull a card. Next would be Team Yellow. And you'll move all the cards until that segment is done, and then you go back to yours and you roll your dice, and then you place the dice until you have no more dice. And then when you have no more dice, you are going to go through and you are going to try to end up with 4 of these cards. You are going to program these cards as such. Now, if you roll, like I told you, if you roll a 1 here, okay, you are going to end up with a hazard card. And that's usually pretty bad, because you can end up going back 6 spots on some things, or you can go forward 2. They may help you or hurt you, but no matter how you look at it, you want not to have any hazards. And what's going to happen is during the phase, during this thunder phase, once you program your cards, well, you are going to move. You're going to do exactly what it says. You're going to move 4 and then do the ability, which is wreck or checker. And wreck or checker is after moving 1 to 6 spaces, then roll a die. If rolling less than the number moved, wrecker. Move the card backwards, the number of spaces moved plus an additional 3. Oh, that's a nasty one. You don't want to end up with that card. Okay, so there's a lot of different things that can go on. So you're going to move your car, and then you are going to do them again, only this time when you draw from the non-player action cards, you are going to use the bottom half. And as you can see, the numbers in value go up, and that's going to be 3 for that yellow team, and they're just going to go. So you're going to do those 4 phases. At the end of the 4 phases of the thunder phase, whoever is in the lead wins the game. You're going to total up any kind of points that you have. For instance here, 12 points for the winner, 10 points for second. And then you can do this as a campaign, and maybe you set 5 race limit. You keep track of the points, and whoever has the most points at the end of the campaign is going to win. This is a fantastic experience. And when you're playing with a bunch of players, I played with my son last night. We had a lot of fun. The non-player cards, you have 2 types. You got these beginner cards that have hearts on them, and then you've got these ace, which have a bunch more stuff going for them, and they are going to be tougher to beat. So you can set the value and how you want to do it, and hopefully you can survive and win and not end up in 6th or 5th like I do. Like I said, placing the dice, trying to make sure that you get your thunder cards, that's very key. And just making sure that you, at the very end, it doesn't matter going past this line, okay? The line is there for effect. It does count, because that counts a lap. So even if you're 5 laps here, okay, you go 5 laps, it isn't who passes on the 5th lap. It's the person that is in the lead. Like these 2 cars, they may be ahead, but this one has an extra lap on it, okay? So this purple and this black is ahead of that car, but no, it's actually this car that's ahead, because it's done 5 laps, and these cars have only done 4, okay? So that would make this guy the winner if we were at the end of the phase. Makes sense, doesn't it? Okay. It's a matter of getting to the end and making sure you're first and going the farthest and traveling the most and avoiding all the little pitfalls that fall into this game. This is a tremendous racing game that has plenty of playability, beauty, and finesse, and just makes it a fantastic experience. So to really get a real great feel, go check out my live play that I did of this game. I had an absolute blast. I played it solo. You could see how great this is solo, and then also hopefully coming up in the future, I'll be able to play a game with my son, so you can see how much fun this is playing with other people. This game is just fantastic, one of the best racing games I've ever played. All right, with that said, the brief overview I gave you, I hope you understand it. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Let me go up top and talk a little bit further about this fantastic game, Thunder Rolls. Now, I love this. Not because I'm a friend of Richard's, but because I'm a fan of Richard's. And I have to say that this may be the greatest racing game I've ever played. And for me to say that, that is a lot. This is something that I have to tell you is a must-have. Okay? Go check it out. Okay? Check out the playthrough. And I'm telling you right now, half the fun was painting and putting the cars together. Then when I started racing and learning it and getting it locked down, I just couldn't stop playing this game. And it works great as a solo game, but its real strength is playing with a bunch of people, because how you program things, it's not even so much... At the end phase, when you program, you're thinking, okay, I got to be able to do this and get this ability, and you're praying that your hazards don't get in the way and stuff like that. And it really comes down and it builds that tension that is in racing. Okay? Like I said in there, some of the misconceptions is you have a start line there and you think that's it. No, you're going around, and the laps are to keep track of the position of where people are, because people are going to get lapped. Okay, it's a little bit abstract, but it's abstract enough, but it doesn't take away from the feel of what this game is. And once you get the solo aspect of just turning those two cards, doing what says on the cards for the solo play, it goes quick and it moves quickly. And you find that if you don't have people to play seasons with, okay, you can create your own seasons, and it's not easy to win. It's not easy to win. You have your beginner cards. You've got your advanced cards. You can mix them in. You can mix them out. You can do so much with this, and there's so many different tracks that you need to go over to Mr. B's and get this. I'm telling you right now, people that don't play this a few times don't understand some of the things and get a little confused. But once you play this a few times, this game gets better and better and better and better. And I'm telling you, and I'm putting this on my grandchildren, that I really believe that this is one of the best games that Richard has made, one of the best racing games I've played, because I love how it feels. And it does a great job at what it's supposed to do and how it does it. It is just a fantastic experience, and I really highly suggest it. I do not make videos on games I don't like. I never felt comfortable doing that. I'll give you a heads up and say, well, this is... But when I love something, I'm going to talk about it, and I'm going to go on about it in the front of the video, and I'm going to go on about it in the back end of the video like you're getting right now. This is a guy that has put his passion into everything that he's ever done. It should be in the Hall of Fame, okay? He is one of the greatest designers of all time. And, I have a few designers that I really like and admire. Herman Luttman, is one of those people. And then, of course, what can I say about Richard Launius? Okay, even though Defenders of the Realm, one of my favorite games of all time, which I heard he's redoing, folks. Yeah, count me in on that one too. But everything he does, it's a funny thing because he makes games that are simplified. You don't have to show off how smart you are, okay, and be a rocket scientist, okay, and go, well, I've developed this game and it's 147 pages of rules, but you're going to have this ultimate experience. Sometimes less is more, folks, okay, and sometimes the most obvious and simple things are some of the best things that you will ever experience. Now, I've did up all my cars and everything like that, and I didn't do them in the other people, that YouTubers, even though I was tempted to do the Tantrum house car, okay? And Richard and Pete are the only one that's going to get this. And I'm going to put it to you this way, folks, okay? I refuse to have a Tantrum house car on my track, okay? Because anybody, Melissa, I'm talking to you, that beats Richard, the designer of the game, so badly all the time, okay, I'm not going to give you the satisfaction of showing a Tantrum house car on this track so you can win without even being here. So I'm telling you this much, Miss Melissa, okay, and this goes for all you Tantrum house people, okay, I'm coming up there, okay, and I know you hang with Richard and you play this with Richard, okay, when I come up there, I'm throwing down the gauntlet, because I'm going to be practicing on this game until I get it down, okay? And then, Miss Melissa, you're going to have to take on the human highlight reel, okay? All right? The total package himself, okay? And then we'll see how you do. So, Richard, you can get up off the ground laughing because you know she's just going to beat the living bejesus out of me when I get up there. But, you know, hey, let's make a little fun and throw a little shade that way over to our good friends over at the Tantrum House. So, with that, listen, that's what this game does. It causes rivalries and racing and rubbing and banging and smashing until there's only one. And I'm telling you right now, get this. You could do it solo. You can do it with a bunch of people. Richard makes games that are the one most important component of it all is just fun. And that's what it comes down to. And this is fun. This is easily a 9. And the only reason I'm not giving it a 10 is because he's working on an expansion. And how can you make something that great better? Well, if anything, he can do it. This is a 9. Go get it. Go to Mr. B's. Sell it out. They'll do another Kickstarter. Refill it. Trust me. Go do it. Until next time, it's your old pal Rob. We'll see you soon, everybody.